बरोबर सर. बरोबर आहे सर.
Okay, sir, you can start now.
Okay.
You are live now. I've shared you the
Okay.
Facebook link.
Okay, no problem.
You can start, sir.
Okay. So, welcome to everyone and all participants. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Professor Doke sir, Assistant Professor in Samartha Group of Institution College of Engineering, Belle. So, first, I would like to thank to Honorable Mr. Vivek Shelke sir, as well as Honorable Mr. Vallabh Shelke sir, and Administrative Officer Pradeep Gadekar sir, and HOD of Department Amol Khatode sir. So thank you for giving this opportunities to organize such a type of webinar. Uh, and also thank you to Mr. Zadav sir, who is now presented this webinar from RIT Islampur. And I will hand over to Professor Zadav sir to start this webinar. Sir, you shall start.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Doke sir, for the welcome and introduction. Am I audible clearly? Doke sir, am I audible clearly?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
fine. Yeah, so first of all, I take this opportunity to thank Professor Sachin Shelke sir. Because of him, I am here in front of you. Also, I would like to thank Professor Amol Khatode sir, who is the head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and Professor Pradeep Gadekar sir, who is Administrative Officer of Samarth College of Engineering. So let me know, there are few faculties. So in the chat box, I would like to know how many of you are teaching this particular subject, new product design and development. Maybe in a chat box.
almost 2 and 3 faculties.
2-3 faculties, they teach this subject?
Yes.
Yeah, and sir, please tell me, these students, they are from which year, or they are from all the years?
All the years.
Okay, fine. So that's great thing. Let me check chat box. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Right. So this new product design and development, which is very important topic in today's world. I'm Professor Prakash Jadhav from Rajaram Bapu Institute of Technology. I represent my institute, which is autonomous one, and we offer 7 UG courses, and recently we have added mechatronics, new branch to our college. So that's what I want to share with you. And let us start now. So I said this is very important topic. The reason behind that is many of the times we hear from many that the particular student from IIMs or particular student from IITs and NITs, they are getting very high salary packages, maybe in crores or maybe in a lakhs of rupees. So what's behind that? So what they are expected to do in when they join such organizations? And if you see, there are organizations like Google, we have Apple, we have, they are constantly making good businesses. So what's the reason behind that? Reason behind that is this new product design and development. So those people, they get high salary, they are into this product design. They have that ability to understand the needs of customer, and they have sufficient technical knowledge and that particular innovative mindset, with the help of which they can convert those needs into a product which can withstand in the market for a longer period of a time, and which can give very good business to the company. So that is the main idea behind choosing this particular topic. Just a minute, something went wrong. I'm unable to, yeah. So this particular subject, product design and development, is revolved around these 6 things. These are very rough things I'm showing you, because you should have an idea of the how vast this subject is. In particular 1 hour or 1 hour and 15 minutes or so, it's very difficult to cover the topic and the entire aura of this topic, which is not possible. But let me introduce you some of the things which will trigger your mind, which will motivate you to look into this subject in a deeper sense, in a broader sense as well, and learn this subject and do something which will be better for your company, for your career, and in turn for the society and the country as a whole. So the first thing here is the discovery, that opportunity identification for the new products. In this opportunity identification, first of all, we need to study the product life cycle. Then need for new products. What is the need of the new products? Then strategic planning and new product opportunity, success of new product ideas, and S curve of the technology forecasting. So these are a few of the points you need to understand, and plus the creativity and the innovation factors. So these are very, very important things in opportunity identification for new products. Second we have is the identifying customer needs. So in the identifying the customer needs, we have to understand what they need. It is called as a voice of the customer. Then gathering customer needs, organizing and prioritizing those needs, because if you contact 1,000 of the customers, then they may have some hundreds of needs. But we have to prioritize in a particular product, or in a single product. We cannot have all the ideas or all the functions required by the customers, but we have to select among us those. We have to prioritize those, right? So there are certain tools and techniques of the same. After that, there will be a product mission statement. There will be a benchmarking. Benchmarking is also a very important point. And then we have to establish the product specification. So this comes in the second part of this particular topic. And now third we have is the product concept generation, selection, and the testing. So in this, we have to generate the different concepts. with the help of certain tools available, we have to select one or two good concepts and we have to test it. Then we have to go for the process it, then find out the methods. Then we have to go for the product architecture. So before that, we need to understand what are the different architectures of the product. And then we have to establish a good architecture. So that is things are involved in this product concept generation, selection, and the testing. Next, we have the product design tools and techniques. So in the product design tools and techniques, we have certain things called as design for manufacturing, design for assembly, design for environment. So these things are involved in this. Again, the QFD, quality function deployment, value engineering, concurrent engineering. So these things are involved in these product design tools and techniques. Then we have is the design considerations. So majoritarily we have mechanical engineers. So we are well aware about what is mean by design considerations. So as per that particular product, right? So we have to find out the design considerations, and according to that, we have to proceed for our design. So in this, it is expected that you are designing the assemblies, sub-assemblies, and the components or the parts of your particular product or selection from the standard catalog you have. Again, the aesthetic and ergonomics considerations are to be considered in this particular fifth stage. And six is the product launch and the market entry. So many of the philosophies, they consider this product launch and market entry as a part of product design and development. And there are some, they do not consider this, but this is again very important part of the product development and which is called as a product launch and market entry. In that we can have the economic analysis, life cycle costing, sensitivity analysis, pricing, and placing, and the launch plan. So all these things are there, are involved in this particular new product design and development. So that was the outline we have. Before we actually touch the subject, let us understand this, that these are some of the facts I'm putting in front of you. The first is 85% of new B2B products are failures. B2B means business to business products. Like, someone is manufacturing a crankshaft for other car manufacturing company. So these are called as a B2B products. So 85% product fails. 95% of new consumer products are failures. So see, in such a huge amount, the products are being designed and developed, but they are not feasible, they are not profitable to the company. So here failures imply that either they don't meet the company objectives, either they don't come into the market, right? They vanished in the design phase itself, or maybe in the development phase itself. And in some, we have to withdraw from the market within the 12 to 18 months of their launch. So this is a very critical and very tedious job of the product design and product development is concerned. For any product, there is a life. Companies design the product, they manufacture the product, they launch the product, but that particular product is there into the market for a limited period of a time, right? Why? Because it is the law of the nature. So if you see this particular chart we have, right? So we have x-axis time and we have this sales, or the number of atoms we have. So when the product is new at this particular thing, right? So there will be sales will be the 0, and once it is introduced into the market, the sale will gradually go on increasing, right? So this particular first is called as the introduction phase. In the introduction phase, the product is new to the market, so you'd have to go for the extensive advertisement in this, so that whatever the characteristics of your product will be known to the market, right? And that will be called as the introduction. Now, once your product is introduced to the market, then there will be the growth stage. If your product is of a good quality, if people like it, or if some of the people like it, they will, advertise on your behalf, and then there will be a good market to your product. That is called as a growth. So you will have a very good sale in a less period of a time, right? That is called as a growth stage. And then this sale will go on reducing a bit, and it may, that sales will be like, suppose you have a 30% market share or 40% market share will be there for a certain period of a time. That is called as a maturity, right? And once you achieve the maturity, it happens, it's likely that if one company is doing good business in a one kind of a product, then your competitors come into picture or a new technology comes in. So because of that, there will be the decline. So last stage is the decline of the sales of your product. So we have to be very careful in this. So majority of the company, they want to be in the maturity stage for a longer period of a time, so that that particular product can be more profitable to that particular organization. So that's the thing. But in this techno-economic scenario or this huge competitive world, this is not at all possible after few months. Right now, yes, literally for after few months or maybe few years, for some of the products, right, the product sale will go on declining. So with this introduction, we will go to the product design. So why product design is very, very important? Because in this era, as I told you, in the old concept, that was a craftsmanship style working, like, you know, the design engineers, they have their intuitive ideas into their mind, and they used to think like what customers will like or what are their capabilities of their design of their manufacturing. According to that, they used to design the product and launch it to the market. But right now, this is not the scenario. Now customer can demand many things from a single product, and we need to take care of such customers. We have to satisfy the customer. So it's not like the sales volume of your product will make you profitable, but if the customer satisfaction will make you profitable. So that is the main thing in this particular product design. So the customers desired the quality or the performance of the product, right? So that was not winner now. So that was the order qualifier, but not the order winner. So again, we have the low price or the correct price of that particular product. Then the robust performance is desired, right? So that is also desired by the product. Then easily serviceable, maintenance free, and higher second value. So higher second value, like you have two-wheelers, four-wheeler, even your mobile phone, laptops. What we want is after utilizing those for some 3-4 years, like particular laptop we have or mobile phone we have, we want it to sell, right? But we want a good price, right, from that particular second sale. So these are some of the things all the customers expect all the time, right? So that's why this product design is very, very important. So there are certain cases you might have heard about the Nokia, you might have heard about the photo film manufacturing company Kodak. Like here I have one example of the Firestone, that was a US tire manufacturing company. So you know, they were so involved into improving their existing product that they never noticed, like, you know, the other technologies are coming, new technologies are coming, new competitors are coming, they are going to use that, or they're adopting that technology, and they're coming up with the more sophisticated product than theirs. Like Nokia, we have very good example of Nokia, we have good example of the Fujifilm also we have, right? So digital camera era came into picture, and you know, the old era of the camera roll, and that vanished like anything. So the companies had a major setback. Literally, they become bankrupt because of such things. So the product design is important. Next is the terminologies. So let us understand some of the terminologies. The first is product development. Second is design and development. And the third one is research and development. Basically, in India, we call it the R&D. We call it the research and development. Is the department we have a very vague name for this particular thing. But let us understand what is the difference in this. So we will first of all see research and development, then design and development, and then product development. So in the research and development, right? So this research and development team, they are responsible for development of new technology. This new technology is very, very important. right? So this research, so when we call it as a research, right? So this research team has to transfer the technology to product development team so that that particular research can be utilized into the product. So that is the research and development. Research team will invent, right, or develop a new technology. Then we have design and development. So in the design and development, right, so basically we focus, like we academicians focus on this part, design and development. So all subjects we have, or all design subjects we have, so we teach them this design and development, right? Sizing of the shaft diameter, or calculating this thing and calculating that thing, selection of bearing, design of gearboxes, and such many things, right? So that is actually the design and development. There is no innovation in it. So majority of our student, like institutions like us, like, you know, we have majority of the students, if they are selected for this R&D work, they will be in a design and development. Actually, they are not in the research and development, right? So for research and development, you know, the ME or MTech is desirable part. So we have a very good insight into the problem, and you can come up with some innovative ideas to solve those problems. So that is the thing. And next we have is the product development. So this product development is the entire set of activities required to bring a new concept to suitable product. So it includes the business case analysis, marketing efforts. Marketing efforts means to understand the customer, technical engineering design, manufacturing plans, validation of designs. So it's very broad thing. So when it comes to the product development, it's not only the design and development, it's not only research and development, but before that there are so many things, and after that also there are so many things. So a product design engineer has to be a multifaceted personality. He should know each and every aspect of the product design. So this is an example I'm taking so that, you know, it will be very clear to you what is R&D and what is design and development, or what is product development. So we have SMA, shape memory alloys, right? This shape memory alloys, what they do is, right, so this R&D activity can identify a material which retains the shape upon heating, and on cooling they can be deformed easily. So when we heat the material, or when we trigger the material by any electric force or magnetic force, they will regain their shape, right? So that is the basic idea of this shape memory alloy. So there are so many applications like actuator. One is shown over here, right? This is a simple valve we have. So this is the SMA spring we have. So this spring is designed, right? And this is the cold position. Now this spring is in a cold position, right? And then when we apply a electric current to this, this will be heated, right? And this will actuate, right? This will get compressed. So this is a compressed, or this is a hot position. When it is heated, it will get compressed, right? And whatever we have over here, right, the piston will be moving to the right hand side and will allow this particular fluid to pass through this particular valve. So in the cold position of this particular spring, right, so this red liquid will come and pass, or maybe hot liquid will come and pass over here, and then when we trigger this particular SMA, it will get compressed, moving this piston to the right hand side, and this fluid will be allowed. So this is one particular, so R&D activity will find this particular thing, and then the product development team or design development team have to find out the some of the ways where we can make use of this. So in the last year, my two groups, they underwent the study of this shape memory alloys, and they have come up with a very good or innovative products. Now we have already filed a patent, a product patent for a one particular product, and second, we are again we are improving on that, and again within a 1 month or so we are going to launch again one more design patent based on such kind of a project. So it's very important for the things. So let me tell you, like, I have an opportunity to have interaction with Dr. Anil Kakodkar sir. All of you must be knowing Anil Kakodkar sir. So he asked me, at what level you have introduced this product design and development subject. I told him that, we have this in a final year. So he said that no. So he said that, he is working on his, a panel or, board of studies of so many leading universities worldwide. So they said that majority of the universities worldwide, those who are doing very good thing in terms of this academics and innovation, they said that the first year students are introduced to this subject, and like, so they have everything in their mind, and whenever they think of any problem, they think of developing a new product, commercialize it and launch it into the market so that it can become a profitable. But still, we have so many constraints in our board of studies. We have so many constraints in designing the syllabus. So still we have the subject, but we have introduced mini project in first year. We have environmental project in third year. We have CDIO concept, like conceive, design, implement and operate concept for third year. And final year, we have again one more project. So our students are doing 4 projects, and in the first year itself, we do not have this subject, but we are introducing this subject through some of the lectures, and then students are coming up with some good new ideas, and they are trying to build something from first year so that they can have a good insight of the theory they are learning or they have learned so far. Next terminologies we have is what is mean by original design, adaptive design, and the variant design. So this original design is the original only, right? No other thing is existing before use of that particular, right? So there are very few successful original designs we have, which disrupt the market like anything. So you might have heard, like, once for few years back, we had, record players and the cassettes we have at our houses. But right now, we have disposed them. Some of them have preserved it, but, they are hardly used. So with this incursion of this particular CDs and DVDs, right? The CD players and DVD players came into picture, and video cassette players, VCRs, what we call it as, even the cassette players, audio cassette players, they have become absolute, now literally absolute. But again, the era came in. Right now, there are hardly the households they are using again the CD players and the DVD players. Now they have also become absolute. Now what we have is the pen drive, or we have a portable reservoir, right, with us, and it can be taken anywhere. So now we have mobile phone with us. We can attach those mobile phones to those speakers directly, right, and we can play music whatever we want. So that's the era now, right? So it disturbs the market, and it makes some of the products literally absolute. So that is called as the original design. So next we have is called as the adaptive design. In the adaptive design, what we have is we make some of the other changes into the product. Like we have refrigerator. In old scenario, refrigerators, they were using the reciprocating compressors. So and now they are using this rotary compressors. So because they are using these rotary compressors, the size is literally half of this rotary compressor. They are less vibrations are there, less noise is there, right? So this is called as the adaptive design what we have. Next we have called as a variant design. Like a particular company is manufacturing 15 kilowatt pump, and now they are manufacturing and they are selling the 100 kilowatt pump. So that is called as a variant. The same product, kind of a product, but different in the capacity, different in the size, shape, geometry, material, right, or other control parameters. That is called as a variant design. And one more terminology is called as a redesign. So so there may be can be a debate like whether it is a redesign or whether it is a totally new product, because in one of the literatures I have seen this case study. This said that we had a telephones at our houses, but that was they were not portable. They were wired one, and they were not portable. So that problem was eliminated by a cordless phone. But again, the problem with the connectivity, right? They were useful only maybe in that particular room or the adjacent room. But the mobile phones or addressed this issue, and they made communication portable. So literally, from someone's perspective, this is mobile phones are the redesign of their existing landline phones. But if from customer point of view, mobile phones are entirely new products for them. So maybe we can call it as a redesign, or we can call it as a entirely new products. It doesn't matter, but they have replaced the landline. So there are very few households right now they are using landline. So each one in the house have at least one cell phone with them. So that's the thing. Then we will see this product development process. So in the macro level, the product development process, has a three stages or states. One is understand the opportunities. So weakness of landline, that is not portable. That was the opportunity we found out. And then develop a concept, look for a new solution or verify any other form of the same usage. And then implement the concept, translate the concept into the physical product. So these are the roughly three stages we have. In the first stage, we have to understand the opportunity, right? So to understand the opportunities, we have some relevant questions like what do we use as a product? What is the difficulty? What does not it do what we want it to be? So these are some of the relevant questions for existing products we are utilizing. Then anyone can have a wild visions. So can these visions be transferred to realities? Can it be developed and implemented? Can it generate worthwhile profit? So if you read the some of the science fiction stories in 80s, right, maybe written even in 86, 87, 88, 89 up to 90, right? So they have written that they have written about the the person or the human being is or the man is moving from earth to other planets. Then they have one gadget on their wrist. There are two buttons, one is green button and one is red button. So if they are in danger, they will press a red button and signal will be sent back to earth that the person is in danger and they will send help. If they found they are in a safe place, then they can press the green button and so on. Imagine someone has written this in 85, such kind of a story called as a science fiction, or before that as also. But literally after less than 10 years, we had a mobile phone in our hand. So forget about just sending the signal that I'm safe or I'm not safe or in danger. Literally, we are able to send the message to each other, or literally we are able to talk to each other. And now after that, the innovation was in such a fashion that literally we can transfer anything. We can transfer a photograph, a audio file, a video file, and whatnot, right? So, within a very less period of a time, we have come up with very innovative ideas in terms of, mobile phones, in terms of laptops, machines. There are so many things actually, right? And on concluding, about the organization is clear on state of competitive market, customer population and their preferences and available technologies. So these are the things considered as the understanding the opportunity. So again, we have to pursue that opportunity. It reminding me one story, one particular company who was manufacturing the caps, caps we wear, or caps or hats, what we call it as. So they sent two salesmen into a new territory, and they asked them to be there and study customers over there and send their feedback. So two salespersons were there. So one sent a feedback like this: sir, in this particular territory, no one uses hat or a cap, so we do not have at all market in this particular region. And the other said that, sir, no one here uses the hat and a cap, so we have 100% market over here. So just we have to tell them that they have certain kind of a thing which can protect their head from the sun or maybe a rain. So that is the attitude. So that positive attitude or mindset is very, very important. So that is called as the understanding the opportunity or finding the opportunity. So once you have found out the opportunity, then you have to develop the concept. So in the development of concept, you have to have the target specifications. So for which particular group of people you are launching this particular product, right? So product positioning in the marketplace is also thought of how you are going to deliver it or how it will be made available into the market, right? And then we have to divide this particular product into the input and output transformation model. I will show you this input and output transformation model. Like we know what is the input, we know what output we are extended, and for that to To get that output, particular output, we have to design our system, right? So this is called as a development of the concept. So in this particular thing, the design is on paper only, right? Design is on paper. Now you have to, there has to be so many concepts. You have to have a brainstorming on that, and then you have to select one, and then you have to move forward, and then implementation of this concept. When your design is ready on the paper, then you will go for detail engineering, modeling, prototyping. Design for X means, for what we are designing it. We are designing it for a price. Like there are many times they design it for price, like a pen. You'll never get a pen for 9 rupees. Pen cost is always 10 rupees or 5 rupees or so. You'll not find any pen costing some 7.5 rupees. Or even, we talk about the mobile phones. They design it like, I want to sell this particular mobile phone below or between 9,000 to 10,000. So they design for that, right? So that is design for X, maybe a cost, maybe a size, maybe design for assembly, right? So there are so many types. This X can be replaced by anything. Design for environment is again a new aspect. As I told you, design should be robust, and there are production planning, manufacturing engineering also involved in this, and the quality control and the gate implementation. So these are the things. So once it is given for the manufacturing, then there are very less chances that you are going to change its design. So that is the thing. Now let us come to this particular point, which is 6-phase product development process. So in this 6-phase product development process, we have the first step is a planning, then is a concept development, then system level design, then detailed design, then testing and refinement, and then production ramp up. So I told you at macro level, we have 3 stages or 3 phases. Those phases, they have divided into the 6 particular design phases only. So before we see the next aspect, let us understand there are 4 types of projects, 4 types of product development projects. So they are, the first is called as a new product platform. So new product platforms, they consist of, the hybrid cars, entirely new product, what we call it as. Touchpad incorporated laptops, now they are into the market. Solar powered calculators, they are also into the market since so many years actually. Digital watches, LED bulbs, LED television, right? There are many more. So these are called as a new product platform, such were not existing or they are not existing, called as a new product platforms. Then we have the derivative of existing products. In the derivative of existing products, we have diesel engine, invented in some 18th century. But if you are able to use the diesel engine for a new application, it will be a derivative of existing product. Then higher capacity of washing machines. Up till now, you were having only 7 kg of washing machine capacity. Now you have designed new machine with 11 kg of capacity. Low ton of refrigerations, right? So maybe for industrial purpose, you want to have a cooling at some particular very small area. You can have a low ton of refrigerations. We have small or big display of LCD mobile phones, bigger size televisions, right? So see, these are the derivatives of existing products. Then we have incremental improvements. So product is existing, but we are improving the product day by day. Like higher mileage vehicles, we have more megapixel camera. The condition was at that at a stage like having a 14-15 megapixel Sony camera costing more than 20,000 rupees, right? The kind of a luxury for us. But right now, even a 10,000 rupees mobile phone, they have camera of more than some 24 megapixel or so. It happens, right? So that these are the incremental improvements what we have. Less polluting engines, aesthetic variants of all the products, not only these. I have taken the examples for the car, like tail lamps and bumpers, etc. But these are the incremental improvements. And next is called as a fundamentally new products. They're not at all existing, right? So automobile, driverless automobile. Electricity transmitters through air. Right now we do not have, right? So we have, but that wireless chargers, what we call it as for a certain mobile phones. But again, that touch is very, very important. but they are now going to invent these electricity transmitters to the air. Then new composite material, as I told you, like SMA we have. Now Bluetooth has become absolute, not absolute actually, but have become old. Before Bluetooth, we had infrared. So infrared had become absolute, and now we are using these Bluetooth devices. So these are called the fundamentally new products. So one more thought here I want to share with you is that in business and in life, winning once is not enough. So there are many companies, many startups, they come into the market, they have one particular product, they sell to the market, they make a good profit, but they stop over there. They're unable to launch new products or make some changes into the product, right? And then sell to the market and we stand in the market for a longer period of a time. So basically, aim of any organization, profit making organization, is designing, developing the product, selling into the market, and making changes into the same product, or expand the business into the other businesses, and that business should grow. Business should not stop on one product to the another product to third product, then the services, then one product platform to another product platform. This is very, very important. So there are companies, they are making it continuously. Like we have Apple, we have Sony company, we have Tata's with us, right? So why they are more into that? What is their secret? Why they are leading? Like even we have this Google, right? So there are so many companies. So what is their secret? Their secret is this. So this is a surfing board and the surfer is there. Actually, this is a total madness, right? This wave we have, almost more than maybe at more than 20 feet getting, and he's surfing on the board. And very important thing here is that, so imagine now he's surfing over this particular thing. Now, after this, he has to jump from here, somewhere here, to on this particular wave, right? So he has to go and change the waves. Then and then only he will remain safe. If he unable to jump or remains over here, he will get vanished, right? Or he may sunk into the sea. So that is the case, right? So this jumping is very, very important. The similar case we have is in the technology or technological development. So as like we saw a product life cycle, the technology also has its life cycle. What we call it as it is a technology S curve. What we call it as this is a S curve. So these are the efforts to the x-axis, and these are the performance, right? So when the technology is new, right, the efforts, we need to put more efforts. But once we are very conversant with the technology, with the less efforts, we can extract more performance from that particular technology. But it's very difficult for us to extract more and more performance from the same technology for a longer period of a time, right? Even though we are increasing the efforts, it is called the technological limit. So because of this technological limit, right, this particular curve will get stagnant. It will be a horizontal line. So what we have to do is we have to go to this particular thing, transferring technology development cycle. So we have to transfer the technology. Suppose we have adopted this particular technology A. This is a technological for A. So become it reaches its limit, you have to invent a new technology B. And when this particular technology A becomes stagnant, right? Before that you have to launch the new technology, right? So with less efforts from this particular time period, again your performance will be increased one. So this is called as a technology development. So those companies, they have adopted this particular thing, they are making good businesses. So this is a example of the telecom industry we have. So we have this particular 1G, 2G, 3G. So these are the years 1981, 92, 2003, 2005, 10. Likewise, right? And here this is the speed in kbps they have given. So this particular 1G we had up to 15 kbps speed. 2G we had up to some 35 to 50. Then there was a edge technology. Some of you might be knowing about this 2.5G called as the edge. 3G. Now we are in this era of 4G. Now there are countries, some countries they have launched this 5G. So this is a case I have read somewhere in the newspaper that UAE, they have already tested speeds up to 115 GBs, right? Gigabytes per second as a part of their 5G strategy. So here we are not getting 2 Mbps speed. They are talking about GBs, right? For 5G. See the technology they have, right? So I've talked on this lower portion, middle portion, the top portion. So this is very important point. So there are certain exceptions for this. It is called as a violation of S-curve. So this is for the transistors, right? So microprocessor transistors or microprocessors, what we call it as, right? Using Moore's law, they have had it. So old days in 1971, hardly 2,300 or some before that, only 2,300 number of components or the transistors were used. But I have this data up to 2011. See this huge number we are utilizing. If you see, we had Pentium processors before that, right? Then the era came of Pentium 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the Titanium came. Then Core Duo processor came into picture. Right now we have this i3, i5, i7 processors. Even we have faster processors than i7. They are used in the supercomputers. So this is the one thing, right? Called as a violation of S-curve. So no other device, no other thing as like a microprocessor is we are able to manufacture which is more and more faster than these microprocessor transistors. So that's the thing. That was the exception for the thing we have. Next we have is called as a creative problem solving ability. This is a very famous quote from the Albert Einstein. The more formation of a problem is for more often essential than its solution, which may be merely a matter of mathematical or experimental skill. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle requires creative imagination and makes real advances in science. So for example, let me tell you, let me give you example that each day we brush our teeth. Each day, right? Maybe once in the morning, few of us maybe twice in a day, in the morning and just before going to sleep. We brush our teeth. We do it as our duty, but we never thought like, this brushing our teeth is a problem. It's a problem means it is a time consuming process. It requires minimum 3 to 5 minutes in a day. Then plenty of water is required. Toothpaste is required, right? So it consumes your time and energy. That is a fact. But we never understood that, we can do something into there. Okay, there were the products, they have battery operated toothbrushes as well, but they couldn't make it to the market. We have our traditional toothpaste, and there lot of companies that are doing so much research on the toothbrushes only and the toothpaste, of course. But you might have seen a video that they have a very simple small gadget. Just put that gadget for 10 seconds in your mouth, put into the mouth, press a small button, a touch button rather. After 10 seconds, it will beep, and you have to move it and rinse it only for 5 seconds or 10 seconds or so, and keep it away. So within 15 seconds, you will get your all teeth clean. It's a miracle, right? So because someone perceived that brushing the teeth daily is a problem, right? So first of all, we have to problem, and then we have to see that how creatively we can solve the problem, right? So very important here is the customer satisfaction. So I will not go in depth of this, but we can concentrate over here. Satisfaction of basic needs, right? If you satisfy the basic needs of the customer, a company get into the market. You will come to the market, right? Then if you are able to give the performance needs, basic needs for a suppose example, a mobile phone, basic needs, what are the basic needs? It will get in the market. But performance needs means what? Long lasting battery. It is not heating up. Quick. It has a very quick charging and all that, right? You will remain into the market. Or the product is reliable. You will be into the market. But if you have excitement needs, you will be the world class. So excitement needs here, right? Like iPhone. So iPhone has tremendous capabilities. Suppose you want to measure the distance, you can measure the distance. So these are the excitement needs. Even while purchasing the iPhone, we don't know like these things are existing in the iPhone. But once you start utilizing it, you will come to know that there are so many exciting features, right, into that. And they do it on a regular basis. That's why Apple is the world leader. May not be in terms of number of cell phones they are selling, but in terms of technology, they are the superior than any other mobile manufacturing company in the world, right? So this customer satisfaction is very, very important. And understanding the customer is very, very tricky process. It's reminding me one of the case studies in America. They had one cream, and they interviewed some 1,000 people, 1,000 men rather, and they asked the first question like, do you enjoy shaving, shaving your beard and mustaches? Do you enjoy that? Do you like it? So 100% of, means all 1,000, they said that we do not like shaving. It is a very time consuming process. We literally hate it. Then the next question was, we have invented a cream which is at the affordable price. You apply it, some 5 times in a week, only for one time, means 5 days successively, right? And you will never have beard and you will never have a mustache in your life. Affordable price. Are you willing to purchase it? So, to their utter surprise, out of 1,999 refused to purchase that particular cream, which actually might have relieved their trouble of all their days, like cutting and itching and all that stuff. But they're unable to, or they were not willing to purchase that particular cream. Only one got into it. But see what that, so you are at one side you are selling it's very tricky, we hate it and all that, but we are not ready to purchase a cream for that, right? Because we attribute these things to our nature, like masculine nature. So that's why it is very, very important. Again, one study showed that we have pain relief balms, like we have Moo, we have Tiger Balm and Jandu Balm kind of a thing we have. So the study showed that in India, the South Indian people, they are much into this Jandu Balm and Tiger Balm kind of a thing, because they have very hot effect. They give very hot effect. And on the contrary, the North Indian people, they are much more into Moo or Volini cream like that, because they are more into, or they like the soothing effect of such creams or balms. Right? So that is the mentality we have. So very difficult to understand the customer. So here is one more example of frying pan. We call it as a tawa. In this, what we have is, this was interviewed by one person, and the customer name is written over here. Interviewer was so every information is written over here. And so typical uses of this frying pan. So this is a pan, okay? So frying vegetables, eggs, cooking pasta, cooking gravy. So she used this pan for that particular purpose. Then what she likes into this, so it contents do not stick to the surface. This is a non-stick frying pan, so contents do not stick to the size. That's what she wanted, right? Or she said like that. But what interpreted need is non-stick surface is required. Non-stick surface is required, and the importance is a must, because she uttered this the first time. So that needs to be must. Again, size is also important. Size should be a compact one. If it is a compact, it is a good thing. Then we have can stand on its own, means it has a better flat bottom to suit the straw accessory. So flat bottom is required. They should have this. Then depth of the frying pan is also important. Deep side walls permitting food not to spill spill over, right? So it has to be good. So this importance also they have written for that particular customer. I'm sorry. For that particular customer. So what she disliked from the product? After a while in the burner, the handles become too hot to hold. Right? After approximate use of 25 minutes, the handle become hot, too hot to hold. That was her complaint actually, right? The handle conducts heat from the pan. There is a thermal breach. So there is a thermal breach between this. So that's why this handle becomes hot. So this is a must, right? And it's not looking good. So when observed, when she said it's not looking good, found that rivets seen on the inner surface of the pan. So if you are able to see, there are the rivets. So because of this, there is a deposition of the oil, right, on this, and you might have seen that deposition. So it will not look good. So that's what her complaints were, and she suggested the improvement that, or from that interview, we can guess the suggestions that heat resistant handle is required. Different painting colors at the base are required so that it can be look good, and elimination of the rivets. So we can have a different design so that we can eliminate the rivets from here. So that was the findings we got from a customer. Customer, was a housemaker, homemaker, right? See this. And one more very interesting thing, they got to know that in the same interview, when she was asked to make a traditional dosa, right, she removed that pan, that frying pan, right, and she put a traditional iron tawa on the stove. When asked, she told that frying pan with deep sides will prevent dosa's ejection from the pan seamlessly. So because of this particular frying pan deep sizes, right, very difficult to eject the dosa, right? So she had this tawa. So it got to know that, right, we can have a non-stick tawa. So this is a picture of a non-stick tawa. So this information they got, or the company got from one of the customers, right? So this is very, very important to understand your customer. Now, once you have understood your customer, what customers want from that particular product, then we can go for establishing the product function. So what should be the function of that particular product, right? So function is the thing, right, we are expecting from that particular product, right? And it is the independent of any particular form. So why it is called as it is a independent of any particular form? So this is a story all of us know, right? And we have seen it in a three Idiots movie as well, right? So when NASA or the American people, they spend so much of money on designing a pen which can work in a space, and the Russians used a pencil. We don't know whether this is I call this is a myth actually, but here form is not important, but the function is to make a mark or to write is very, very important. It may be a pen or it may be a pencil. So that is very, very important. That is called as a function. Then we have this product function. The product function is intended overall function of a product. We call it as a product function. Like from washing machine, wash the clothes. From bean cutter, cut the bean. From air cooler, cool the air, heat the water. So likewise, we have some of the product functions. Then to achieve these functions, we can have different sub-functions. The component of product function corresponding to the subtask called as the sub-functions, and then called as the abstraction, right? So process of ignoring what is particular or incidental and emphasizing on essential and the general thing. That is called as the abstraction. Let us understand this. What is the meaning of this? So we know what input is required, or what input we are going to give to that particular system, and what output we are expecting from the system. And in between, we have to design something, right, which is called as a product, and which is called as a product function. So intended form is unknown in the beginning, right? So here our role comes into picture, to have a product function by designing a particular kind of a product. Then in this, we have again one thing called as the constraints. So constraints like a cost, constraint like a weight, constraint like a space, right? So these are constraints are also should be very, very important. So we have seen about the functions. Then the function modeling. So we have function hierarchies and function structures, right, for functional modeling. So there are so many tools and techniques for that. Even to get the information from the customer, there are so many tools and techniques. To analyze those, again, there are certain techniques we need to understand. And once you have done this, right, so with a simple example, I will be telling you this function analysis system technique, which is called as a FAST function. So maybe we have majority of the students over here. So for their project, this will be very, very useful for them. So in this particular thing, in the FAST, what it does is displays the function in a logical sequence, prioritize them and test their dependency. It is also called as a how and why analysis. How and why analysis. So here we have a higher order function, like we are going to have the example of ironing the clothes, or we have iron, like electric iron we have. So let us consider this example. So we have a higher order function, or the primary function as the iron the clothes. So the basing function for that particular product will be the heat, or it heats the base of the iron box. So as to iron the clothes, the first basic function should be it heats the base of the iron box. And the secondary function, right, it can have, so there are three types of secondary functions here. One is the required function or required secondary function, aesthetic, and the unwanted function. So the required function is heater assembly, which converts electricity to heat. That is the required function. Aesthetic is styling of the outer grip or the handle, right? So the handle or the color of that particular iron is very, very important, aesthetics. And unwanted is handles need to be insulated. So as we are going to heat the base, and to that particular base, we will have a handle mounted. So as not to transmit that particular heat to the handle, right, we have to insulate the handle, getting, which is actually unwanted thing, because it is going to add the material, it is going to add the cost of your iron, it is going to add the weight of your iron, because it is unwanted, right? So that's why it is unwanted, getting. So these things are to be considered, right? And then we have two nodes. One is called as the right node and the left node, or called as the upper scope and the lower scope. So from here, from left to right, we have how, and from left to right, we have why, right? So for example, we have to write here higher order function, first of all, and we have to ask how this function is achieved, and answer will be addressed by the next. How it is achieved, we can have one more function to this. How this is achieved, we can have another function for this, right? So this is how, from left to right. And why we should have this function, because we want to achieve this. Why we want to have this, because we want to achieve this, right? So from lower order function to, sorry, higher order function to lower order function, we have to go, right? And when we have to go, so when you do this, right, so again we will have a sub functions in the vertical order, right? So let us take this example of the iron box. So those who are on the laptop, they will be able to read this, because this is a somewhat bigger. So this is a fast diagram for the common iron box. So I want you to concentrate on this particular part, right? So we have ironing of clothes, right? Ironing of clothes is what? It is a higher order function. So to achieve this, what we should have this heat the base of iron box. So heating is very, very important. So as to achieve this, convert the electric energy into the heat energy, right? How is achieved is install the heater. How this is achieved? Provision of the switch, means switch on and off. And how this is achieved? Provide the electric power and the supply. So how? From left to right. And if you ask the question, why electric power is required? Because we want to provide the switch. Why we want to provide a switch? Because we have to install the heater to switch on and off the heater. Why we want to have this? Because we want to convert the electric energy to the heat. Why we want to convert this? Because we want to heat the base. Why we want to heat the base? Because for the ironing the clothes. So likewise, the sequence we have to have. And now once you have found this, see, this will give you a particular design. So once you have this fast diagram, and then whatever the size of base, whatever the material of the base selection, what kind of what you are going to use to convert this electrical energy into the heat energy, right? Which component you are going to use, of what material it is made up of, right? It is a latter processes, but understanding this is very, first of all, this is very important. So from here, hit the base of iron box. So this is very important box. Good contact between the surface and the heater, so as to dissipate heat, all the heat from that surface to the from heater to the surface. Good contacts are required. Provide thermal paste between the base plate and the heater, because we want to convert everything. Then remove unwanted transfer of the heat to the other places of the base. Then we require some insulators, right? And insulate the surface other than the base. So likewise, again, we will have some more functions to achieve that this particular primary function. Same the case was here. Convert the electric energy to the heat energy, transmit the electrical energy through wires, and dampen if any losses are there. So we should have provision for all this. Install the heater. To install the heater, secure the heater, provide the clamps, right? To secure the heater, we have to provide the clamps. The clamp the heater ends to accept the power. Then provision of switches, secure the switch and install a thermostat. Thermostat to regulate a or to keep certain temperature. Suppose you want to keep a 80-degree temperature or some 100-degree temperature. Once the temperature is reaches, it's cut off the supply. We know that, right? So it is required. So this is a fast diagram, and from here again you can understand that there should be a very good grip to the handle, right? We have to control the temperature, right? Then support all the equipments in a one assembly. There has to be only one assembly, right? And then very important is that it should comply with the all safeties, right? And it's provide to the adequate packaging also should be provided. So this is a fast diagram, right? Function analysis system technique. So whenever you are doing any project, right, what you want to achieve and how you are going to achieve, this fast diagram will be helpful for you to have this. I guess 1 hour is over. Sir, let me know if I can continue for, because this QFD will take some time, maybe 15 minutes or so to finish, 15 minutes maybe. So let me tell whether I should continue or we shall stop here and take some of the questions. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir, you can continue.
Okay, fine, sir. Thank you. So now once you have everything, right? So there are again the things like, you know, you have to go for brainstorming sessions to have all these, then their selection, and so many things are involved after that also. But this is very important and a tricky part in the product development. So that's why I thought like I should cover this in this, which is called as a QFD methodology. So before that, let me tell you, like, you know, no one can claim that 100% they will be successful. Take example like Honorable Ratan Tata. He saw one family like 4 or 5 people on a two-wheeler in a city, and he thought like, you know, for a common man in India, I should design a vehicle or a car which will not cost more than 1 lakh rupees, right? Including all taxes and all that. And he hired the team, he called so many good people from IITs and ITs, and they asked them to, he asked them to design a car which will cost more than, less than 1 lakh rupees or so. And yes, they did it. The Tata Nano came into the market, but to the utter surprise, even a great businessman, they had some 3 or 4 variants. The basic price was 1 lakh rupees, and their higher model they had is some 1,40,000 rupees or so. So there are hardly, very few number of cars they're able to sold costing 1 lakh rupees. Whatever they were able to sold was the higher end models. Those were costing them more than 1.25 lakh rupees or so. Moreover, they have the higher versions only 1.4 lakh rupees version. So though a great businessman perceived that a common family will purchase a Tata Nano costing 1 lakh rupees, that was not happened. I'm sorry to say that. Getting so it's very, very, very important that understanding the customers. So see now, I have seen so many mobile phone users. They have this iPhones, but they hardly use the capabilities of the iPhone. They are more into making and receiving the calls, WhatsApp and Facebook. That's it. That's it. By they never use the Siri. Like you not need to, or you do not have any need to dial any or search any name or number or dial any number. Just ask Siri to do that. Hey Siri, call so and so, and the Siri will call you, right? So many capabilities are there, but they're hardly been used. But the people are using it for as a craze, or just to show that I have very good standards, or I have money with me and I can afford an iPhone. So that's all. Even they cannot have a good, they cannot take a good quality photograph as well, though that they have very good quality camera. So it happens. Even I have seen that so many houses, they have a television costing more than 1 lakh rupees with every aspect of it. But what they watch is, Zee Marathi, Colors Marathi, TV9, and so that stuff also. So let it be. So the next thing I wanted to discuss is the QFD. QFD is the quality function deployment, right? So in this quality function deployment is designed to take voice of customers and translate it into the set of product and process parameters that can be deployed through a 4-phase process. One is called the product planning, parts or subsystem development, process planning, and the production planning. This is a typical example of a QFD or house of quality. QFD is quality function deployment, right? This is the house of the quality. So here in the house of quality, what we have is this horizontal thing. We have 2 parts, horizontal portion and the vertical portion. So horizontal portion contains the information relative to the customer, and vertical contains technical information. So here information related to the customer, what the customer wants. Then we have relationship matrix, then comparative assessment of the things, right? So these things are there into the horizontal portion, and the vertical portion we have the technical aspects or the technical information. Let us understand this, how this is constructed. So we are going to take an example of a digital camera for this. So from the customer requirements, we have found out these are the top 5 requirements of the customer. Top 5 requirements of the customer from a digital camera. So what are those? First requirement is it should be of lightweight. Second is it should be easy to use, that we call it as a user friendly. Next is it should be reliable one, right? And next is easy to hold steady, very important, so that we can have a very good quality picture. And then it's a color correction is very, very important. See, now our photograph is more beautiful than ourselves. Getting? So the color correction is very, very important. So if you see at original scene and the photograph of this scene, the photograph is more beautiful than the original scene, always, because of this color correction. We have the automated color corrections in now in the mobile phones. We have beautification. So it is called the color correction. So they have given the they have prioritized its things like, so which has the more priority into this. So it should be reliable. It should be reliable, have given the highest priority, means the 5 rating is given for that. Then user friendliness is the 4 means rating 4 is given. So highest rating is given to the reliability. Then the is 4. Then the lightweight 3. Then easy to hold steady, and then the color correction. So these are the things given. Then the next part here is the technical aspects of this particular thing. So here in this, what we have to do is we have to see that first of all, the low electricity requirements. So from technical front of view, from company front of view, right? Low electricity requirements. It should have a lightweight, means it should have aluminum components. Aluminum components are lightweight components. It should have an autofocus. It should have an auto exposure. It should have a paint palette. Paint palette means, it will beautify the colors. It will beautify the colors for that paint palette. And then it should be ergonomic design. It should be easy to use and handle. That is called the ergonomic design. Lightweight and everything comes under this again, this ergonomic design. A handling part of it comes under this economic design. So these are the technical aspects. Now, we have to establish a relationship between these customer requirements and the technical aspects of the camera, digital camera. Now we have to find out the relationship, right, for this relationship matrix. So when we have this high relationship between the customer requirement and this technical aspect, we have this particular 2 circles. Then we have medium relationship. Then we have a single big circle, and for role relationship, we have given one this, and we have a small circle for this. So when it comes to the lightweight, right? Lightweight. So aluminum components, it is right. When we use aluminum components, the lightweight, there will be a lightweight of our digital camera. So there is a high relationship between these two. The low efficiency of though low electricity requirement, yes, there can be a relationship between these two, but there is a very low relationship between these two. Even the ergonomic design, yes, lightweight. If we have a less weight, right, it is a low relationship we have. Some of you may think that it is a medium relationship. Nothing happened. You can give it as a medium relationship. So likewise, then easy to use, right? Easy to use, low relationship with electricity. Nothing to do with the aluminum component, but autofocus, yes, very important. Auto exposure, it's very important. Paint palette, very important. Ergonomic design, it's very, very important, right? So all these aspects, 4 aspects, they are a medium relationship with the. Some of you may say that this autofocus and auto exposure, right? Because of this, you call it as a high relationship. Yes, you can put the high relationship. Then it should be reliable. Reliable, again, the electricity, autofocus and auto exposure, because reliable picture can be taken with the help of that. Easy to hold steady, very important, right? It is related to the ergonomic design. Color corrections, like related to the paint palette only, which is a high relationship. So likewise, we have to have the relationship chart for this. Then this is a relationship between the customer requirement and the technical aspects. Now we should see whether there is any correlation between the technical aspects. So we have these 6 technical aspects. Let us see if there is any correlation between these two. And we have this degree of correlations as well, like high correlation and the low correlation in this. So when we call it as a low electricity elements, for example, this we will take, and this autofocus, they have correlation, because when we go for the autofocus, right, so there will be some internal components involved into that, which will require the electricity, right? So they both are highly correlated with each other. If you eliminate the autofocus, then electricity requirements can be very low, but you have included means this electricity requirement will be higher. So they have very high correlation. So likewise, you have to find out. So again, electricity, it have a correlation with the auto exposure. Auto exposure again have very high correlation with this auto focus. Paint palette again have correlation with auto exposure. Paint palette again have correlation with auto focus. Paint palette again have a low correlation with the electricity requirement. So likewise, you can find it out whether we have high correlation and the low correlation. So we have to move forward into this direction. So now what we have to do is we have to find out the weighted rating for this. So for high relationship between these technical aspects and the relationship, what we have is we will give 5 rating, medium relationship 3, and low relationship 1 rating. So these are the weightages we already decided, right? And based on this, so this is a medium means this is a 3, right? Let's take one example. This is low means this is 1, and this is again low means this is 1, right? So we have to calculate it, right? The overall or importance rating is to be calculated for this particular technical aspect. Getting? So how to calculate it? Is this 3 into 1, then 4 into 1, plus 4 into 1, and plus 5 into 3. So here it is shown. So we will get this 22, which is our importance rating for that. So similarly, we have to find out the important rating for each of the aspect. So highest is to, this is 32. Highest rating is given to this particular thing, and the lowest is given to the second. So what we have is, here is second last is this paint palette is very, very important from the customer point of view, right? And the from 9 rating is for the aluminum components. It's very obvious. See, customer is literally not bothering about what kind of metal you are using it. So it is reflected over here 9. What he want is a good quality photos with a ergonomic design or a good look, right? And with the paint palette and auto exposure and auto focus. That's it. The customer wanted. Get it? Now, the similar study you have to do with your competitors. Like here we have company A and company B, right? And so you can give this good or positive or failed, right? So failed reliability for this A, good, right? Very positive, right? Very positive. So likewise, whatever you want to give, or you again you want to give rating 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 5, whatever rating you want to give, and then you can have the comparison. So then for specifications and evaluation, you can set the target values. So the electricity you wanted to consume 0.5 ampere, getting the 75% aluminum components you wanted. Exposure from 2 inch to infinity. You want only 2 circuits for autofocus. You want to have a paint palette or failure 1 per 10,000. That is your target, and the panel rating. So expert panel has to be there, and the panel rating you have to write. Now this is a technical evaluation you can have from company A. They have this current requirement of 0.7, company B 0.5. Yours is yours is 0.5. The 75% aluminum components, they have only 60%, they have 50%, you are going to use 75%. So all are capable of having the zoom of 2 inch to infinity. Company A has 1 circuit, company B and you have 2 circuits. Failure is okay. So this failure is okay for all companies, and the panel ranking. So this is a fail because only 50% aluminum components and maybe 2 circuits, right? But you have 75% aluminum components and everything is good because energy requirement is less in your case. You have given is good rating. So you have to try to achieve all these specifications from your particular product, right? So this is a complete house of quality. So likewise, again, this is technical evaluation. Again, you can call it as a benchmarking. Benchmarking is again a very, very important thing. This is a very rough idea I have given you, but in actual practice, you have to find out the so many aspects for the benchmarking or for the technical evaluation. For a simple connecting rod, not a simple connecting link, so not rod, connecting link, you can have some 15 to 20 parameters. You can have a comparison of other different organizations or companies, right? So this was the house of quality. So if you can search on the internet, you will get the house of quality for whatever the product you want. So they are readily available. But again, if you want to go through this particular process, you have to have your own house of quality. So once you have this, then you are going to decide the portfolio and architecture. So there are certain architecture types. uh, so you have to choose one architecture type for your product, and then you have to think of design for manufacturing, design for assembly, design for environment, and then you will go for actual design process, designing of the assemblies, sub assemblies, selection of components, and all that stuff you will go for. So I want to give you one assignment that maybe I will share this PPT with you guys. You can read it, and if you are interested in this, you can solve this assignment for your purpose, and you can share with each other and check out how much you have understood about this introduction of new product design and development. So these references I've used, which is a Ulrich product design and development, McGraw-Hill. Then we have one more book, Otto and Wood, product design. Then we have Charles Frohlich. I have not used that this much for my presentation for this, but for aesthetic ergonomics, this is very important. And then one more important book is Design for Product Success by Dr. Devdas Shetty. So these are the books I have referred. So that's all from my side. I will be happy to have the questions. Yeah, before that, let me add, we float this as an elective subject, but those students, opting for this elective, they are getting very good job profiles in the company, and they are getting higher salaries as well. The companies like Bosch, companies like Wipro, they are placed and they are getting the higher salaries than the others. So that's all from my side. So over to you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Hello.
Yes, please.
I am audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Sir, I would like to thank for giving your valuable guidance for the students. Now, okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Is there any?
So if any queries, please put on your chat box or comment box on Facebook link.
I know this is a bit heavy.
Yeah.
Sir, one query is from Yogesh Raut.
Yes.
What are main causes of bad design?
There is nothing like called as a bad design or a good design. But yeah, actually, okay, fine. First of all, there are two aspects of the bad design. What we can say that, like if you're unable to satisfy your customers, right? So whatever the intended function, if your product is not giving, then that is called as a bad design. But fortunately, this will not happen because the design team, they choose the people in such a fashion that they will see that this will not happen. The question may arise with the reliability of your product. So maybe in initial phase, you may not be able to judge the correct reliability of your product, but later on, once it is used at different places, right, the question of reliability may occur. So in that case, you can say that that is kind of a bad design actually. And one more thing is that bad design, what we call it as, which consumes more time or which is less efficient and less effective, like it is taking too much time for its manufacturing, very less number of standard components are used in it, or which is very difficult to disassemble and assemble, right? Or very difficult to maintain. So that is called as a, you may call it as a bad design.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, is there any queries?
Sir, now there is no any queries.
Okay, fine.
In chat box. Sir, yeah. Thank you, Sir Jadhav, sir, for giving us valuable time. And from behalf of Samarth Group of Institutions, I would like to thank you very, very much
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Doke sir, and thank you, Sachin sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. All the best. Yeah.
Okay.
Barbani sir.
Ha, sir. Should I end the session?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, sir. You can end the session.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.